This is Kerrigan and Company. If you're tired of endless swiping, superficial chats, and first dates that go nowhere, it might be time for something different. Allure Matchmaking offers a refined, confidential, and human-centered approach to finding love. For more than 2 decades, executive matchmaker Jill Vandor has coached and personally hand-selected matches for successful, discerning singles. No dating apps, no public profiles, just curated, meaningful introductions with people who truly align with your goals, values, and lifestyle. If you're ready to meet someone of your echelon, visit allurematchmaking.com and level up your dating life. Love is in the air for this edition of Kerrigan and Company.
Kerrigan and Company is here for you. Yes, Kerrigan and Company is here for you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Kerrigan and Company. Well, I have to tell you here in the studio, love is in the air. This is all about Valentine's Day today. I hope you have big plans for the weekend. It's cool because this is one of those rare years where Valentine's Day is on a Saturday. So there's no excuses, gentlemen. Get those dinner reservations and get out there and show your Valentine how much you care. We've got some great guests with us, and keeping me company today is, I'm going to call her the Love Guru. Now, that's not exactly what her title is, but it certainly seems like it fits her, that's for sure, on this Valentine's Day. Jill Vandor is with me. She was with us, actually, last year at one point as a guest, and we said she's got to come back for this show. She is a matchmaker at Allure Matchmaking, and it is so nice to see you again. Look at us. We were ready for Valentine's Day. Do you love Valentine's Day?
Do I love Valentine's Day? It is my Super Bowl. It is my favorite holiday.
Kim, come on. Are you kidding? Yeah, I love it too. I've always said that someday I'm going to have like a big, huge black tie party at my house with gazillions of roses.
As it should be.
There you go.
Absolutely.
See? Yeah. So if my husband's listening, I want him to know that's going to be a bucket list thing that we're going to get to here.
Gazillion roses to be delivered this weekend, please.
Right. Saturday would be great, too. So tell me about, first off, let's tell everybody about Allure Matchmaking, because maybe they didn't get to see you last fall when you were with us. So tell everybody, what is Allure Matchmaking?
So Allure Matchmaking is a private matchmaking service where I work with high-level executives and just busy professionals, people who want a more bespoke, more dignified approach to meeting that special someone.
Sure.
And typically, my clients are fantastic. They just like the fact that there's confidentiality. They like the fact that I'm doing all the vetting, the curating, and anybody I'm introducing them to is a match made with intention, so that we're looking at to make sure that they have the same goals, values, beliefs, and that they, can help complement one another.
Absolutely. How frequently do things go awry?
Things don't go awry as frequently as people might think, and not as crazy stories as people would hope. But, the thing is that we're not dealing in quantity as far as, like being on an app or something where it's next.
Right.
Here, it's about really curating the experience to make sure that anybody I'm introducing to somebody, that we feel that not only are they going to like them, but they are going to like them as well. Right. So usually it goes very well, but, I joke that heaven and moon and the stars all have to come into alignment as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's a heavy lift for you all the time.
I'd say I'm playing God in the background here. So.
And how frequently do you have people who come to you and say, okay, I've swiped for the last time?
So, a lot of people use the apps as a stepping stone. And, there's nothing wrong with the apps. They are great. They scratch the itch. And there's a lot of great people who are online. But at the end of the day, the thing is, there's so many times that you might not get matched with the person, or you might even get matched and you may never meet up, and you're swiping and you get fatigued and catfished and AI'd and all these other things. So that this way you can make sure that anybody that I'm introducing you to, that you're going to actually meet them and they're real and they're looking for the same things out of it.
So I hope that you're not going to be offended by this, but my experience with a matchmaker, short of you now, is the television Matchmaker that everybody has watched. And she would get very angry with people who would present themselves as one thing and then go on a date and be something else. And she would learn of this. Do you have these kinds of experiences, Jill?
Well, first of all, I like to think of myself as somebody who has more of a velvet glove as far as
Right.
matching people up. But we have a very in-depth screening process that people have to go through before they can even meet somebody. So if it were to happen that somebody were to present in one way, there's going to be another matchmaker who's going to meet with them as well to get a second opinion on them to make sure that they're being set up for the right reasons. Because there's no point in sending somebody out on a date unless we feel like it's going to, hopefully lead to something more.
Sure. And is that part of the deal, that you're not just in it for dating?
Yeah, you're not in it for dating. You're in it to look for a long-term relationship.
Okay. Not necessarily a spouse, but a relationship.
Yeah, it doesn't, most of the time, a lot of my clients, there's some who are young looking to get married for the first time, but a lot of my clients have been married before, they're divorced or they're widowed, and they're looking for somebody to more, complement their life, not complete their life. So it's just that final chapter, I would say.
Sure, absolutely. So are these both the men and the women come into this as successful individuals looking for, right? It's not just men and then you bring in other people.
No, both men and women are my clients, and on both sides I'm looking for to find their special someone.
Right.
Yeah.
You and I were talking a little bit off the air, and I can really understand this because confidentiality is very important to these folks. I understand that. But boy, that makes it tough on you because you can't really go out there and say, hey, guess what? And when you read about some great couple that, and you can't say.
Just last week, one of my couples that I got together, they're in a fantastic relationship. He's incredibly successful. She's beautiful. They're a wonderful couple. And he sent me over a whole testimonial, and he's like, I will talk to anybody if you want, use me as a reference. And he sent me some beautiful pictures that they had over the holidays. And I said, oh, can I use these for my, website or for anything? And no, that's where we had to shut it down. So, people absolutely love me, but they don't want to share they
can't tell anyone.
That's what it is.
Which I know has to be very frustrating for you, but at least he's willing to write a testimonial, which is great,
and it was beautiful. And,
absolutely. How many people are you seeing regularly, and is this time of year when love is in the air, is it the busiest time, or is that,
Well, we're always busy, and typically, ideally I like to work with about 10 men and 10 women at a time, just so that we're giving, fantastic white glove service to everybody and making sure we're getting those people into relationships. I would say, excuse me, after the holidays, it becomes really busy. New Year's, people realize I don't want to get to the holidays next year with my family and be alone or anything like that. But we do live in Boston, so it's a little cold. So people get a little bit lonely, too, in that respect. So they do want to meet somebody, and all good things take time. So I tell people, you've got to get out there now. And Valentine's Day, the pressure's on, but it doesn't mean you have to go out with them this weekend. But you just have to realize you're ready to put yourself out there and meet that right person.
Sure, absolutely. And do you find, that these relationships are you with them for 6 months into a relationship, 8 months? Or are you with them for one date and then they ask you to step away?
Well, I tell people, have I had it happen on the first date? Yes, and people think I walk on water. But typically, I like to work with my clients for a full year, and the reason being is that people are different at different times of the year, and people, in order to be in a healthy relationship, they need to be with somebody through a good time and through, unfortunately, a bad time. So maybe they should, go to a wedding together, or a party together, or unfortunately go see what happens if they had to go to a funeral or something. Also, with the change in the seasons, people act differently at different times of year. So if you're going to be with somebody and be in a healthy relationship, I like to be with you for the full journey of it, from beginning to end.
Okay, so if I was to hire you, my husband would be shocked. But if I was looking for a relationship, walk me through what it is that you do for me. Because you just said for a year. What would you be doing for me?
Well, So here at Alert, we work. So the first thing is that I would do an in-depth interview with you to find out who you are, your past relationships, things that have worked, things that haven't. Really get to know you, and make sure that emotionally you are available to meet that right person, and it's the right place and time for you. After that, then we would make a blueprint of exactly who it is that you're looking to meet and a profile of who you are. So that way I could then start launching your search on your behalf. And we have a team of 5 people who their sole job is to scour the earth to find that right person for you.
Yeah.
And then we have you meet with a photographer, we do a whole photo shoot of you, and then from there we have an extensive Rolodex of people, obviously, but if we don't feel like we have that right match, then we'll find that right match for you, interview, vet, curate, set up the time, the date, the place. We give dating coaching. We do a pre-phone call before and a post-feedback call after the date. And then, assuming the date goes well, we'll set up the second date or the third date, or
Sure.
we are with you. But eventually the hope is that you want to see this person exclusively, and then you can pause the membership to see where it goes with this individual.
Absolutely.
And usually at that point it ends up working out, but if it doesn't, then we come back and we
Start again.
Yep.
So, Jill, is that Rolodex full of people who only live in the Boston area, or are there people in other places?
So I like to consider myself the queen bee of Boston when it comes to matchmaking. But I collaborate with over 400 matchmakers nationwide, worldwide, so I have access to working with other matchmakers. And if, sometimes I may have clients who split their time between here in New York or here in Dubai or here in San Francisco, wherever it is. So ideally, if they'd like to meet somebody in Boston, that's my main focus. But if they're, wanting to do something more for when they're, traveling or whatnot, and they're open to moving or meeting somebody in another area, then I have access to them as well.
Wow, that's so cool, huh?
it's really
That is
good.
so cool.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me the biggest horror story you can possibly tell. We always go to the horror stories first,
It wasn't really a horror story. It's just a funny story that years and years ago, I met with this gentleman, and he was very specific in who it was that he was looking to meet,
Right.
like incredibly specific. And I was like, you know what? I've got her. Because he described her to a T. Anyways, this is way back. So then I said, this is who this is, blah, blah, blah. It was his ex-fiance. So there you go. I am good, but sometimes a little too good, I guess.
That is amazing. That's pretty darn good, I should say. How do you feel about when somebody comes in and says, I'm 58 years old and I'm looking for a 28-year-old?
I say I'm probably not going to be able to help you out, really. At the end of the day, I'm looking to get people into healthy relationships.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times there are gentlemen that want to date younger, but not, 30 years younger.
Right.
So it has to be within reason. If somebody was even in their, late 30s, early 40s, I could do that. But
Sure.
I think 28 is just a little.
Right, absolutely.
Difficult.
Right, absolutely. And vice versa. I'm assuming you feel the
Yeah,
same way about, if a woman comes in and says, I'm looking for a 28-year-old man.
Yeah, that doesn't typically.
That probably doesn't happen as
so
often,
much.
right? Exactly.
But I make sure that people are realistic in their expectations and what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Everybody, both men and women always, the people that I'm working with are youthful, so they want to just be with somebody who's youthful, who's attractive, both on the inside and on the outside.
Yes.
So I make sure to figure out what it is, the reason behind why they would want somebody of a certain age group. Sometimes if somebody is older, are they looking to have children again? Is it a second, or have they not
Right.
had children? There's all different variables to it.
And then there's just some people who, it's just a little bit odd, right?
Yeah, there's some,
We won't name any names that are known here in our Boston area.
right. And listen, you know what? It works for them, to each his own, but it's,
Does it really work for them, Jill? Listen, I just very quickly want to say, Allure Matchmaking has become a new sponsor for us here at Kerrigan and Company.
Yes.
We are so excited to have you.
We are so excited to be sponsoring you.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
We think you're a perfect fit for us.
Thank you.
So there you go. We're a perfect match, if you will. So I'm very impressed, and we're very excited to have you. And it's great to have you here today to share our Love Valentine's Day show. We are going to talk with a local jeweler here in just a couple of minutes. We want to talk about jewelry because if anybody's listening out there who knows me, I'd be happy to have a piece of jewelry for Valentine's Day, as I think most people would. And then we're going to wrap the show up a little bit later with another love guru, if you will.
Phenomenal.
Delilah will be with us. For those of you who are unfamiliar, she is a longtime syndicated radio talk show host. She can be heard right here in town on Magic, and we're going to chat with Delilah about her experience. So it's going to be a great show.
Yes,
I'm glad you're
Thank you
here.
for having
So
me.
everybody, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be talking jewelry on the other side. Do you need to buy new technology? Let AGI Beacon help you buy better tech for less. The team at AGI Beacon understands technology from the inside out. AGI Beacon provides expert guidance to help businesses navigate complex technology decisions with clarity. With AI transforming business operations at an unprecedented pace, having the right advisory partner is no longer an option. Go to agibeacon.com today to learn how they can help you with all your technology needs. That's agibeacon.com. If you need a new look for lighting in your home, you need to go to Lucia Lighting and Design. The spectacular 10,000 square foot showroom inside a mansion in Lynn, Massachusetts is decorated with both architectural and decorative lighting in every style. From crystal and traditional to contemporary and modern, the selection is unmatched. Whenever I'm looking for new lighting, I head right to Lucia Lighting and Design. When I'm not sure what I'm looking for, I rely on the expert guidance of Lucia Lighting and Design's team. I know they can help me, and I know they can help you too. Learn more and book your appointment today at lucialighting.com. This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Allure Matchmaking. Your forever after is waiting for you. Find them through Allure Matchmaking. Go to allurematchmaking.com today. Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan and Company. Of course, love is in the air today. It's all about Valentine's Day. And keeping me company is Jill Vandor, of course, the premier matchmaker here in Boston, and the CEO of Allure Matchmaking. And I'm so glad you're here. It's great.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Is there a woman? Do you know many women who don't love jewelry? In all seriousness.
In all seriousness, no.
Yeah, I don't either. Okay, I was afraid you were going to say yes, and I was going to say,
No,
then I'm sorry.
I can't imagine any woman who doesn't.
Well, and everybody thinks about jewelry around Valentine's Day. There's no two ways about that. And so we thought we better find out a little bit about jewelry as well. And I'm so glad that Alex Bellman from Bellman Jewelers of both Boston and Manchester, New Hampshire, is here to join us. I said those backward, really, didn't I? Because it's really Manchester, New Hampshire first, with a new location in Boston, which is so great.
We're so excited to be here. I love being in Boston. We're excited to be in Seaport, especially.
That's
I'm just so excited to be in that environment.
Absolutely. Good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Bellman is actually started by Dad.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so give us the story.
So when my dad was 18 years old, his father passed away from a sudden heart attack. And through a fun series of events, he ended up at another jeweler in Boston who introduced him to a gold chain supplier. And my dad started selling gold chains to other jewelers with his last, I think it was like his last like $1,500. He just emptied his savings, bought the gold chain, and went and sold it. And then he figured out that he could start doing it himself. So he started selling in living rooms and kitchens, and then he was in a basement of an old Victorian, which actually ended up helping him because the people were like, do you know about that jewelry store with the buzz door that's in the back of the old Victorian? And then he moved us into the space we are now. And I was lucky enough to take over that legacy, and I knew from like day one that we just had to change a couple things because I really wanted to expand it and blow us up. And so what's so cool though in the end is like he started by selling door to door and basically in people's kitchens, and I've reverted back to that. So like on Friday I fly out to go sell jewelry in Dallas in people's kitchens. So it's all come full circle where even though we're way bigger now, I'm still flying out and meeting with customers in person in their houses, and it's like really fun that it's all come back around.
That is fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank
That
you.
is a
Really
really cool story. It's a great story. So you're known as the guy who tells the truth about jewelry.
Yeah, our TikTok that blew up is called The Truthful Jeweler.
Yeah.
And sadly, our industry is full of discrepancies. And so we do our best to be as transparent as possible because we want people to know why they're buying from us and that you don't just have to go to that, whether it's a local store down the street that's charging too much or that big brand that's overcharging.
Yeah, yeah. So let me just ask you a couple of quick questions before we get to the jewelry and about buying for Valentine's Day, but a couple background questions. It seems to me, and I have a business radio show as well, so I watch these kinds of things, and I've watched what's happening with precious metals, and obviously gold has really skyrocketed. What is happening there, and what are you seeing? How's that translating into your business?
It's really scary. So if you look at 2024, gold was $1,800 an ounce, platinum was $1,000, and silver was like $25 or $30. We're now in beginning of 26. Gold is $5,000 an ounce. Platinum is $2,400 an ounce, so over double. Gold's up almost triple, and silver jumped to 120 and has fallen back to 80, but that's still like 3 times more than it was in 2024. Wow. So it's really going to affect the consumer. And a business like ours, I think, will thrive in it because we're a lower margin business. That's how we grow. We sell a lot at a kind of almost Costco-y, where we try to do really high quality at a lower price. But a lot of stores are going to suffer if they keep their margins where they are. I mean, if you're keeping your margins really high at $5,000 an ounce for gold, these rings, these pieces will be unaffordable to the average person.
Can I ask you, what happens so if I go in to purchase an engagement ring or whatever, and so today the price of gold is at, $5,000, and you quote me that, and then by the time the ring is ready, the ring is now valued at $7,000, or
the caster locks us in. So when we leave the deposit, we call the casting company that makes the mounting, and then we set all the stones. So once we lock the gold, then everything's okay, because the labor on our side will never change where we set the stones in. But if you don't order and we quote you,
right,
it just goes up. I mean, I just had someone email me yesterday and say, I'm so surprised my quote changed so much. Gold went from 3,000 the last time I quoted them to 5,000. I mean, it makes a massive difference in our quote.
Don't wait.
Don't wait. Normally, we would tell people to wait. Back in the day, back in 2022, we would just say, "Oh, wait. It doesn't matter when you order because gold just kind of held at 1,800 to 2,100. It didn't move too much.
Yeah.
So the price never changed. But this is a new world. The economy is wild right now.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Valentine's Day and what are some of the favorite gifts. I mean, I realize that some people get engaged certainly over Valentine's Day, and so a favorite gift would be an engagement ring, but. Other people who are not getting engaged, what are some of the favorite pieces that people buy?
I think the top pieces are diamond studs. Everybody loves diamond studs because they can be worn out with a dress or every day with jeans, which is what my wife does. Her diamond studs almost never leave her ear. Yeah. And then simple diamond pendants. Letters are coming back. So that kind of went out for a little while, and so I brought some letters, whether they're bubble letters or they have diamonds or no diamonds. Letters are back, big like that, down to little tiny.
Right.
Just like a little accent necklace is way back. And tennis bracelets, of course, but gold might ruin that for everybody.
Yeah, they're very expensive as a result of it, right?
They are.
So let's talk about what you've brought. You just showed us. Obviously, you brought some letters,
but fun bling. Some of it's lab grown, some of it's natural.
Okay.
Just because I wanted you to see there's no difference between lab grown and natural. That's a big thing happening in the industry.
Yeah. So let's talk about that.
Nice lab grown tennis bracelet.
Because people think lab grown just means it's a fake. It's a fake.
Right. Lab grown is a really unique thing that happened in our industry where lab grown and natural diamonds are exactly the same chemical makeup. There's no discernible difference to the consumer, whether it's strength, quality. It's just one was grown in a lab, one was dug out of the ground, and the labs are 80, 90, even 95% cheaper than a natural. And also what's that's causing is a large markup discrepancy from store to store.
yeah.
So like at one store, a 3-carat lab grown could be $7,000, which is what happens with our competitor in Seaport. At our store, that same 3-carat is $1,700 or $1,600. It's a $5,000 discrepancy. Same stone from the same supplier.
Wow.
Because consumers don't know what lab should cost, they just see how expensive a natural is. You can kind of put the lab wherever you want it to be.
Sure.
So it's causing a huge discrepancy, but more people want it. Homes are more expensive, cars are more expensive, which is a lot of what people need day to day. So they'd rather spend less on their engagement ring, get the stone they really want, and no one can tell the difference unless you have a machine.
Yeah. So, Alex, what about the value of it, though? Does it ever change?
It does. Lab-growns are pretty much worthless when you walk out of the door, which is something we teach all of our customers. But you have to look at it from a natural perspective. So naturals have fallen 40% in the last 2 years. So if you spent $100,000 on a natural 2 years ago, it's now worth 60. And so you just lost 40 grand.
Right.
Had you bought a lab, the lab might have been 5 grand, so you lost 5 grand instead of 40.
Sure.
And naturals, because of labs, I don't think are ever going back up.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything they can do to bring the demand high enough. All they can do now is cut supply, and even then I don't think it will make enough of a difference to drive naturals back up. Could be wrong, though.
On the lab, though, on the lab-grown diamonds, is there clarity cut, things of that nature that play in, like, you know, whether it's back in the VVS and or VV2 and...
There are. But they're getting so good at making them that almost all of them are the 2 highest colors, D and E, and the top clarities, like VS1 to VVS1.
Sure.
So and at some point, in the next 1 to 2 years, they're all going to be D internally flawless, or as close to internally flawless as possible, like VVS2.
Right.
Because they're just going to get better and better at making them. I mean, they're making them by the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. Which is crazy, right? And are they set in precious metals?
They are, and as gold gets more expensive, I'm actually asking customers on TikTok, will you buy it in 10 karat? Because you're already buying something like a lab that's not as expensive. Do you need it in 14? Will you take the cost savings for 10 karat? And we're getting a response that yes, they'd rather have it in 10 karat with lab grown and just take the double cost savings. Because there's no visual difference from the 14 karat to the 10 karat.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, they're still in precious metals. And it's like 80% of customers have switched to lab grown with no income driver. You have the consumer that is a lower budget buying lab and also buying natural, and you have people who could get whatever they want buying lab grown.
Wow. Wow.
And now there's certain stores when you go where they push you natural. That's because those salespeople are on commission. So I'll slip in a plug. Our sales people are not. But that's what happens. You'll go to stores and they'll force natural on you and almost make you feel bad for buying the lab. But you just make the best choice for you. Do you care about a long-term value that's not really there?
Right.
Or do you want something for 70, 80, 90% less?
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, if you're buying for investment purposes, obviously you're going to go in and you're going to buy I guess you're going to, although you've said the value of a natural is going down.
Way down.
But, maybe you're going to buy a natural. But if you're buying it because you're buying something you want to wear all the time and you loved, I've often thought this. I mean, what is the difference, really, in the end? Because you don't plan to really sell usually you're not going to sell your engagement ring, or you're not going to sell those pieces of jewelry.
And they have lab grown in all the gemstones now.
Everything.
In everything.
Everything. I mean, they've had gemstones since the 1920s, which we do have to break hearts a lot. Someone will bring in a massive sapphire that could be worth $100,000. It was their grandmother's, and they passed it down for 3 generations. Yeah. And you find out it's lab grown. So people didn't know they were making lab grown gemstones all the way back in the 20s.
Sure.
But the lab grown diamonds now, so you can get everything, and consumers are switching. Like an emerald gemstone is very soft, so people are buying lab grown because they do chip easy. Yeah. So they can wear it every day, and when it chips, just pop another $300 lab grown in there. Instead of
I sort of like that attitude. We were just wondering, what's the difference between a lab grown and like a cubic zirconian?
So lab grown is real diamond. 99% carbon with a small chemical difference. Cubic zirconia is plastic or glass. So it's truly natural. Like you can still give it to your kids and pass it for generation to generation. It just won't hold value.
Right.
But it'll withstand all the regular abuse. So they're tough. It's still diamond.
Yep.
And unless you can read the inscription on it or scan it with a special machine, you can't tell the difference. No jeweler can to the naked eye. Yeah. And if they tell you they can, it's not true.
They're fibbing.
They're fibbing a little bit.
What's that? First off, how much is this? Because I don't have my glasses on. And what's the carat weight so that people would understand the difference
let's see.
in price?
This is a heavy guy.
Yeah.
So this is a big 14 karat yellow. It's 11 carats of ovals.
Yeah.
And it's only 8,000. Where 11 carats of natural ovals alone, the ovals themselves would probably sell for like 2,000 a carat before the mapping.
Yeah.
So you're talking already about 20 grand.
Right.
Maybe you can get them for even 1,500 a carat. So maybe you're down to 15,000 before the gold. So this is mostly driven by gold.
Yeah.
And a little bit and then labor.
Sure.
So just the 8,000 is just that gold and labor. And then this guy's just a big lab. Like this is something that you would never buy natural. This whole piece it has a 7-carat emerald in the center. And the whole piece with all the white gold is only $8,000. So the chain, all the diamonds, all the weight is only $8,000. Where in natural,
that is beautiful,
we're talking about a couple $100,000 center before the rest of the
Before
stuff.
you've even gotten started with it.
Yeah. And so that's just fun. Like, yes, you could, even if you have the money, you could buy the couple $100,000 piece. Or you could spend $7,000 and leave that couple $100,000 in your stock account.
Right.
And it will double and triple way past what that's worth.
Yeah.
And then you still get to enjoy it every day.
You're absolutely right. It's fantastic. So advice for anybody who's coming in to buy a piece of jewelry for Valentine's Day.
So when you're coming in, make sure everything is from us is returnable. Look at what your partner's style is. You know, does your style like flashy? Do they want a lot of bling? Or is your style more simple? Just simple gold hoops. Like that's so popular with the diamond studs. And you can never go wrong with a simple pair of earrings. If you're worried like is a bracelet too much, a necklace too much, I think a simple pair of earrings will make everybody happy as long as they don't have the pair already.
I have to tell you a great story. One of my executive matchmakers that works for me literally got engaged and just got married and got her gorgeous wedding ring, engagement ring from you guys.
I love that.
Yes.
Who was that?
Well, don't say it on the air.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
But I'll tell you later. But anyways, it's 6 carat, and you can decide if it was lab grown or not. But it's gorgeous.
Yeah, we never tell people.
No.
Like, we don't. When we put it on TikTok, the rings, we don't talk about what the ring costs, if it's
She
natural.
had an
lab.
outstanding experience too. Just to let you know.
I love that. So
There
that's
you
why
go.
we don't do commission. I don't want to plug us too much and make it salesy.
No,
But I was so
commission
excited
changes
when
the
I found out. I was like,
It does.
Yeah,
You're right.
so-
You're right.
I
It's
love
just
it.
people trying to help people find what they love.
It is.
And I love that idea, Alex. It's really great. Okay, again, tell everybody where the stores are located.
So we have a store in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Okay.
And we have a store in Seaport, Boston,
Yep.
on Summer Street. That store is beautiful. Manchester's also beautiful, but I really love our new store. It's gorgeous. And we're the only store in the country that does free custom, free 3D printing. So if you design the ring, necklace, earrings, we 3D print it. We mail it to you for free. We don't take deposits until you're ready to order. So we don't lock you in. It's truly a free experience.
That's fantastic.
And
That's great.
We love it. I love helping people design beautiful pieces without feeling stressed.
Yeah.
Like the experience for us is actually fun.
Yeah.
Because we're just goofing around with you.
That's
You want to
great.
design something, we're goofing around.
Right.
It's a
just-
good time. We're not stressed about whether you're going to
Yeah.
buy it or not.
That's great. That's great. And you have a website.
Yes, Bellmans.com will drive you right to us. We have BellmansBoston.com, but we've decided to combine them. So you can use either and they'll go to the same site.
Fantastic.
It's awesome. And make an appointment with one of our amazing staff. They're incredible.
Hey, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for bringing these beautiful pieces. They're
Thank you for letting us
fantastic.
come on and
It was
talk about it.
great to meet you. Continued success.
Thank you so much.
All
I
right,
appreciate it.
we'll take a break, everybody. On the other side, Delilah will join us. Boston is full of smart, driven professionals whose lives are full, but their love lives, well, not so much. That's where Allure Matchmaking comes in. Led by Jill Vandor, Boston's most respected matchmaker with more than 25 plus years of experience, Allure eliminates the noise of dating apps and replaces it with discretion, dignity, and high-quality introductions. Every match is thoughtfully vetted and personally selected. No public profiles, no endless swiping, and no guessing games. If you're ready to stop wasting time and level up your dating life, contact AllureMatchmaking.com today.
If you like rum, you're going to love Rumson's Rum, New England's most award-winning rum brand. Rumson creates distinctive and savory flavor profiles by hand-selecting and marrying the finest barrel-aged Caribbean rums. The spirits are then blended and finished in the New England Rum House. Choose from Rumson's Gold, Spiced, Grand Reserve, or Coffee Rum. Find Rumson's at liquor stores or ask for it at your favorite restaurant. Learn more at rumsons.com. That's rumsons.com. Rumsons. Life lived. Life enjoyed.
This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by the North Shore Music Theater, which has just announced its spectacular 2026 season. Learn more at nsmt.org. Welcome back, everyone, to Kerrigan and Company. So good to have you with us today. And, of course, keeping me company is Jill Vandor from Allure Matchmaking. We've seen jewelry, which is pretty awesome.
Fantastic.
That was beautiful. I love their business model. It's really, really cool.
He's
it's
a
really
great guy. Like you
really
can tell
is.
he has a lot of passion towards what he does.
Well, and I loved that you had a personal story with one of the other matchmakers who got her engagement ring there.
Yes, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And they're happily wed now.
There you go. And they had a good experience, and that's what it's really
Yes.
all about. Well, as we continue to talk about love, because this is, of course, Valentine's Day week, I thought, wow, would it be cool? We have the ultimate matchmaker here in the Boston area, but how about like someone who's known as the ultimate, love guru nationwide? And of course, that meant bringing on the one and only Delilah, who can be heard on Boston's Magic 106.7 every weeknight. Hi, Delilah. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I love that love guru. That's a great title. On my business card, I don't have business cards anymore, but when I did, it said Queen of Sappy Love Songs. But I think Love Guru is an even better title.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great title.
You're welcome to go ahead and use that if you'd like. Delilah, Jill and I were talking about it. I mean, everybody in this country knows Delilah.
Everybody.
Yeah, you are on, in every major market in the evenings, and what you talk about and what you do doesn't go out of fashion.
Well, that's because love doesn't ever go out of fashion. Styles do, music does, what's the fancy diet fad, blah, blah, blah. But real human connection, compassion, tenderness, engagement, that never, ever goes out of style.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the road getting to Delilah now.
The road. Well, it was a road less traveled for sure. I started out when I was very, very young. I was that kid that never shut up. My parents tried everything. My teachers tried everything. They tried, moving me to the front of the classroom. That didn't work because then I was just like thinking it was my job to take over the whole class. And then they tried setting me in the back of the classroom, and that didn't work because me and all the other naughty kids would form our own little club. They even tried putting my desk out in the hallway, thinking that would shut me up. And it's like, do you know there are teachers and janitors and stuff out here that I can now entertain? So I was that kid. I loved to connect and communicate. And there was really no place for that in school because, shh, be quiet, be quiet. Right. Every report card was, your daughter is very bright and inquisitive. However, she has a problem with excessive talking. And by the fourth semester, they weren't even saying that. They were just like, please make her shut up. Please make her stop disrupting my class. So I won a speech contest in junior high, and the men that were the judges, two brothers, Steve Carnegie and Jerome Carnegie, owned the local radio station. And that was my ticket. That was my open door. That was how God got me started on this path. They taught me everything they could, how to write school news and school sports, how to be a objective reporter. There's some reporters today that should have learned under the Carnegies, but, how to insert your opinion into what you're reporting. And then I got into high school, and they set up a work-study program for me, so I only had to go to high school half a day, take my test, get my assignments. It meant I didn't get to sit in class and disrupt everybody. And the teachers were happy about that. And then I would walk the 2 blocks of the radio station and go on the air.
Wow.
And I started in 1974.
Wow, that's great.
Amazing.
Now, I know I've heard you say that you did a little bit of everything first, which you've sort of stated here. You know, you were a DJ, you did some talk, you did news, you did all those kinds of things. Something ultimately brought you to this relationship show. What was it, and what made you believe that you could be so successful at this?
Well, no matter what I was doing, I was a country DJ for a year. I was a rock and roll DJ. I was a VJ at nightclubs. But whatever I was doing, whatever station I was on the air, whatever format, the thing I loved most was the request lines. And I'll let you in on a very tragic secret. There are no request lines at most radio stations anymore. Because everything is pre-programmed, so there's no room for your request. But back in the day, the request lines were what drove a radio station. You didn't have pre-formatted, pre-programmed garbage. You had passionate musicians. You had Billy Joel that would come in the studio and play for hours. Elton John would come in the studio and hang out all day long. Donna Summers came in the studio and spent an entire shift with me, 5 hours on the air. You had passionate musicians and singers and songwriters. You had crazy program directors. You had corrupt record label industry people trying to sneak their records on. And you had request lines. And if you played a song and the request lines lit up, you had a hit. It was that simple. It was that simple. Now it's all determined in a conference room. It has nothing to do what people really want. But back in the day, it was the request line. So I would work the request lines and talk to people. And the stories they would tell me were mind-boggling. I'm like, oh my God, this is great content. This needs to go on the air. I need to share this. So my program director at KLSY 92.5, Classy, finally said yes. She gave me the green light. She's like, oh my God, would you stop harassing me? Okay, you can do something special. So it was just 2 hours a night at the first book, the rating period, which was 3 months. From 10 until midnight, and it was #1 in the market.
Wow.
So then she moved it back to 9 to midnight, and then after another ratings period, she said, okay, all 5 hours, go for it.
Yep.
So that was 1984, September of 1984, the show was born, and back then I recorded the listeners' calls and comments on a reel-to-reel machine. So if they dropped the F-bomb or anything, I had to use a razor blade.
Right, to cut it out.
Splice it.
To cut it out. And it would take like 20 minutes to, cue it up.
Right.
And the songs were on records.
Yeah.
50-60% of my music back then were on albums. And you'd have to remember to change the turntable, the speed, because if it was the 45, the small record, put the album on, I'm like, oh, no. So I had like 50,000 things going on while I was nursing my son.
Right.
Because I was a single mama with a baby.
Oh, my goodness.
So it was and I'd be on the hotline because my first husband and he was also in radio, and we had an extremely traumatic trauma bond, crazy marriage. And I'd be on the hotline yelling at him on his hotline, I don't understand. Hold on. And then I'd go on the end, I'm like, you're listening to Lights Out.
I love it.
Oh, it's crazy.
Well, it certainly has turned into something that, as we said, in almost every major market in the country. And people now wait to hear what you have to say each and every night. Yeah. So talk to us about, and I know it's really hard because you've done this for a long time, but share one of your favorite good stories, and then maybe you could share one of your favorite stories or a story that impacted you the most.
Wow. I get so many good stories. I'll share a real sweet, simple one that came across just a couple of days ago. A little boy called me. He was like 9 or 10. He was a child, like third or fourth grade. And he wanted a song played for his family to let them know he loves them. And I said, okay, tell me about your family. And he went through the other people in his family one by one, dad, mom, his older sister. And he told me something incredibly intimate and personal, just 1 or 2 sentences about each member of his family. And I thought, this kid who doesn't even know long multiplication or division knows to look in the heart of the people that are in his inner circle and honor them. I was in tears, like after I took the call, thinking, how does he have that much insight and compassion as a child when I struggled to have that at 66? And so I labeled it for Janie. Janie is my executive producer, and I take the calls, and as soon as I finish and label them, my different producers start editing them and turning them around to try to get them back on the air within half an hour or whatever. Right. And she called me. She's like, I'm going to save this so you can set it up better because this is so simple. It was like a 3-minute long call, but so profound in his insight. When he talked about his dad, he said, my dad provides for us. He makes sure that he takes care of us. And he was talking about his mom, and his mom likes to meditate and to find peace, and she makes our home peaceful.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Just so sweet. And it was so simple, but I mean, isn't that the key to life? To looking into people and seeing their very heart, the very nature of their soul.
Absolutely.
And celebrating it. And this little kid figured that out.
If only so many others could, right?
Well,
exactly.
yeah,
Like me at times.
You've had moments, though, I know, that have been trying.
Trying, that's a good word.
Yeah. I mean, people call, and I know you have the ability to, people maybe who don't know the inside baseball but you were just explaining, you do have the ability to edit some things or whatever, but I would imagine some people say some things that are pretty shocking.
People say things that are shocking only because they're calling a radio personality who is broadcasting across the nation. And if it doesn't sink in that I'm syndicated, it should at least sink in that I'm heard in your hometown, right?
Right.
So calling a radio personality who is broadcasting and then confessing to cheating on your husband, who's a cop, like, what is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? The things people tell me, I'm like, do you know this could destroy your career? I'm not going to. So I made a promise to myself, to my producers, and to the world many years ago that I would never purposefully air anything that would hurt somebody. So if you're driving down the road and you turn on the radio and you hear your ex-wife calling, talking about what a cad you are, that's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt you. And I don't know if he's really a cad or not. She could be bitter. So if somebody calls and shares a story and they share a name or a detail that could hurt a child that was listening and say, that's my dad she's talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not going to air it. And sometimes my producers are like, come on, Dee, it's such a good story. Please, please let me. I'm like, no, that accent, that name, she's going to be recognized. Yeah. You cannot, there's no way to make that an anonymous call. So yeah, people shock me when they tell me stuff that could land them in jail. You know, dude.
Yeah, it's not the vibe of your show.
No.
So
Call the priest. Call your pastor.
right, don't call a radio station.
Don't call a radio station.
Oh, so true.
Knuckleheads.
Do they follow up with you a lot afterwards?
Oh yeah, I love the follow-ups. Now that I've discovered TikTok, I'm getting a lot more follow-up stories. People are like, "Oh my gosh, I called you back in, '94 and you played a song for my boyfriend and now we've been married 30, 40 years, whatever it is." Those are really
I
fun.
love that.
Yeah, that's
Love
really
that.
great. So what's the message? What's the ultimate message, Delilah, when it comes to the show?
No greater love is there than this, that a man would lay down his life for a friend. Love is in our society talked about in terms of romance and passion and sex and that sort of thing. But love is all that really matters. It's what makes the world go round. It's what makes trees grow and plants bloom. It's the reason we celebrate holidays. It's the reason we mourn death. Love is caring more about the needs of others and wanting the best for another person, wanting the best. There's general love for society as a whole, but wanting the best for your beloved, for your child, and saying, it's not about me. It's about helping them be the best version of themselves. Mm-hmm. And we've got to get back to that. We've got to. The world's gone crazy, and it's because we need to focus on loving one another.
Well said.
For sure.
And we thank you so much for what you do each and every night and what you've done here on this podcast. We very much appreciate it. We want to remind everybody again, if you'd like to hear Delilah, you can hear her on Magic 106.7 right here in Boston. Delilah, what a delight.
So
Thank
lovely.
you. Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Same
Happy
to
Valentine's to you.
you. Same
Thank
to you. All right, everybody, stay with us. This is Kerrigan and Company. Love is in the air at Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa in Beverly. For the month of February, the folks at Sienna are loving their customers by offering 10% off of services and products. And when you combine the two, you get 15% off. And don't forget, the spa is now offering brow lamination and henna tinting, as well as micro shading and lash extensions. Make an appointment with Jen for any of these fabulous services and get 10% off in February. Remember, Sienna Aesthetics Spa, where love is in the air. Go to siennaesthetics.com. This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa. Take years off your face with the very latest technologies at Sienna Aesthetics in Beverly. Well, it's that time of the show when we wrap things up, and Jill Vandor has been here with me from Allure Matchmaking. Delilah was pretty great, huh?
She was fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh gosh, are you kidding? You've been great. We got to see jewelry. We got to chat with Delilah. I got to hear all about your wonderful business. This has been very exciting. But we do this thing called Fast Five. So it's 5 rapid fire questions. So if you're ready, I'm going to lay these babies on you.
Let's go.
All right, here we go. Do you believe in love at first sight?
I do.
Where did you go on your first date with your husband?
My first date, we went to Red Rock Cafe.
What's the biggest red flag on a first date?
Showing up late or talking about dating or somebody else.
Do you recommend coffee or cocktails on that first date?
Cocktails, not coffee at all.
And who was the first person you kissed?
Oh my God. I think I was in camp. I think it was some boy at camp.
Very good. You answered those really, really well. Red Rock Cafe, where's that?
Red Rock Cafe is in California, in Hollywood, California.
Yeah, absolutely.
We used to live there.
So you guys lived there. That's
Yes, and we used to, on Saturdays, I tried to fix him up with somebody else first, and then I kept him for myself. So once a matchmaker, always a matchmaker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And have you been married for a long period of time?
This year's 25 years.
Congratulations. Look at this. You know how to put together a match. I think you've proved that yourself.
Well, I did try to give him away, but then I kept him for myself. So it's
You
good.
got a little smarter
Yeah.
then. I'm really curious. So you say yes, cocktails always.
Yes, I feel that saying you want to meet somebody for coffee just says I don't care enough about you to take my time to meet with you. And,
Right.
You can meet for cocktails, drinks, and apps. And in this day and age, a lot of people they're getting mocktails, which is fine. But, spend an hour and a half, get to know the person. And you want to see if the person gets dressed up, how they present themselves. Do they care? By saying coffee, it's like, okay, I'm on my way to the gym and I'm going to meet you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's more about the commitment that you're making over
Yes.
cocktails versus, are you drinking alcohol?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That is, I'm telling you, I can learn so much from you. This is just, I find what you do fascinating, and I think you are a real study of people, and that's very impressive. It really is.
Thank you. I'd like to pride myself. People ask what makes me so great. I say it's my intuition. It's getting to know people and really finding out what's going to work for them.
Sure. And
thank you.
it's not being afraid to act on your intuition, which I think a lot of people are a little bit concerned about that.
Yeah.
You have actually turned it into a business, and that's really impressive. It's really,
thank
really
you.
great. Tell everybody how they can reach you.
Check us out, AllureMatchmaking.com. And I'm Jill Vandor, and give me a call, go online, but I can help change your life, really.
I know you can, absolutely. So be sure you check it out if you're out there and you're looking for a relationship for a lifetime. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Happy
It's been a blast.
Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
And happy Valentine's Day to everybody who is listening and watching. If you are not following us on social, we ask that you do so. And if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure you subscribe. Have a great Valentine's Day, everybody, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Kerrigan and Company. To find out who will keep me company and be my co-host on the next episode, be sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Kerrigan and Company is recorded at the Big Night Studios at the TD Garden in Boston. You can view the podcast on YouTube and listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure you tell a friend. The executive producer of Kerrigan and Company is David Thompson, and our social media managers are Grace Kerrigan, Colby Thompson, and Riley Thompson. See you next time.